On numerous occasions, I have been asked to edit a friend or a loved one's resume before they submit it to a specific job listing that they are interested in. On many occasions, I find that these resumes have not been tailored to the job listing and aren't as strong as they could be, despite my friends or loved ones being really excited about it. I tackle the tailoring of the resume in a fairly consistent way. First, I create a clear mental picture of what is actually required by the job. Then, going point by point in the job requirement, I work with the applicant to describe times that they have met that requirement or similar requirements. I rephrase their language as accomplishments using strong professional wording, often reusing language used in the requirements, while keeping the accomplishment concrete with specific details. Then I reorganize the resume to put the strongest, most important content first, and I send the applicant a copy. I love doing it, but this process is mentally draining. On numerous occasions, I have wished for tools to make this process easier, but until recently, I haven't really found a suitable one. I've tried ChatGPT, but I find it combines technical bullet points into nonsense gibberish, and it doesn't really grasp rhetorical analysis and persuasive writing. It's not really made to do that. I created the resume tailoring tool to assist me with the resume tailoring process. It's designed to match my regular workflow. First, we start by reading a single job requirement and copying it into the resume tool. You can add new requirements by using the Add Requirement button. This forces us to read each part of the job description thoroughly so that we can understand what the employer actually wants to see. To delete a requirement, use the red X button to the right of the requirement. If your requirement is long, you can split it up into multiple requirements or simply resize the text box. To save your work, you can export your requirements as a JSON file. It's just a list of strings. You can then import your requirements to work on them at a later time. For the time being, we're going to use an example set of requirements. Side note, are you an employer, recruiter, or contract acquisition officer? You can export any job requirements as a JSON file and give it to applicants so that they can use this tool more easily. If you need help with this, create an issue in the GitHub repo and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Once we have copied all of the requirements into the tool, we start working on the resume. Going point by point in the requirements, you can ask yourself or the person you're helping about times that they met that requirement or done something similar. To make most of the tool, start by concretely describing the example as an accomplishment, being as specific as possible. Then, edit the example to use language from the bullet point without removing important details. For example, if a job requirement says, ability to work independently in a fast-paced environment, you might first ask about projects that were done independently or on tight deadlines. Say you worked on 16 customer support cases a day, you could reuse the words independently and fast to highlight which bullet point you were addressing, and rewrite this fact as independently handled 16 cases per day with a fast turnaround time, approximately less than 30 minutes each. Add new jobs with the Add Job button. Delete them with the Delete Job button by the right of the title. Add job bullets with the Add Job Bullet button. Delete them with the Delete button by the right of the bullet. Like the requirements, you can also import and export your resume for later reuse. The README on the GitHub will describe the schema for the resume exports. To evaluate your current resume and check how well you fit the requirements, click the Run Results button to see your matches. We're going to use an example resume here. Let's click Run Results. First, we have the forwards match, direct matches from your resume to the requirements. Here you can check how well your bullet meets similar requirements. You have the title, the bullet point, and the matching requirements here. If your targeted requirement isn't showing up beneath your bullet point, it might be a good idea to rewrite it with more similar vocabulary. Finally, we have the reverse match, direct matches from the requirements to your resume. You can use this list to see if you're failing to address certain requirements, or if you need to trim things down, you can see if you have too many examples for one particular requirement. The bold percentage number to the right of the requirement is the similarity score. As of March 2024, the similarity score is determined by the cosine similarity of the TF-IDF vector embeddings of the bullets in the job titles and the requirements. This algorithm, while basic, was chosen for two reasons. One, it's the lowest common denominator for resume screening tools. It will allow you to see your resume through the eyes of the strictest, simplest keyword-based resume screener. Two, it's also very resource efficient and keeps my AWS light sale costs down. However, in the future, I plan to test and evaluate more advanced and flexible vector embeddings to see what I can get away with. Once you've found potential changes to your resume, you can scroll back up and make edits to your resume, and then run the results again as often as you need to, and create a resume that helps you put your best foot forward. I hope this resume tailoring tool helps you. Check back occasionally for new features and upcoming developments, or simply click the Watch button on the GitHub repository to see changes as they happen. Thanks for watching.